What am I going to do for my hunting setup in 2023? Well, it's a good question. I think the first things first is we're going to talk about release aid, and then we're going to talk about sight. MFJJ is selling me on this guy, and maybe he can sell you on this too. So let's start there first. Take it away, MFJJ.
Last year at the end of hunting season, Dan came in here and said, "That's it, I'm done with the handheld." He was all pissy and mad. And I'm like, "Well, hold your horses, man, hold your horses." He's like, "It cost me at least 2 elk. It took me too long to attach it. I had to set it down and pick it up," whatever argument you want. I was like, "Well, hang on a second. There might be some handhelds that are as fast and convenient and easy as a 4-finger trigger, but you still get that handheld." So this, after all my playing on trying to figure out what was the nicest, what I would call a hybrid, which is what I call this. It's a handheld release that has a wrist strap that can still be operated as a caliper style. I ended up settling on this Axis, and I settled on it for a couple of reasons. One, it's open hook, so you can hook on and pull back faster. So you're shortening that time window, one. Two, it doesn't completely shut, so you can take it on, take it off without actually having to like push on anything or push a thumb. So once again, faster, easier. Three, it has a wrist strap attachment with a good quality buckle strap with infinite length adjustability that comes straight back from the central point of the handle. So if you let go of this release and draw it, it would draw just like a wrist strap release. This wouldn't rotate or do anything funky. 4, completely independent adjustable trigger. They do make different lengths of this and different knob sizes of this, so you can totally customize the size of this position. Tension trigger there, and there is no button to close. So the other thing that makes a good quality handheld kind of a pain in the butt to hunt with is the engagement sear, which makes it a little cleaner, but it makes noise and takes time. So you push a button and it goes click and engages the spring. So this is just as fast as a wrist strap style release, but just as clean as a good quality trigger. That's what I'm going to use, and I'm going to make the little guy use it too. All right, so this has not been adjusted for me yet because this is not mine, because I just grabbed one off the wall because I'm going to make Dan take it home with him. But you can adjust this length to where your hand position is good. And I like to get it to where I'm still hanging onto the strap, or still hanging onto the fingers, but the strap is still pulling a little bit. So about like this would probably be really close to good for me. I would probably need to adjust this thumb position a little because I like to touch my thumb and my forefinger together as I pull through the back end. Let's just give it a whirl here. You can totally adjust the trigger travel. I feel a tiny little bit of movement, but my one that I've been playing with at home, it was like one tiny little turn. It was exact hooked. The other thing that I really liked about this release is when you fire it, the release can open its jaw up, but all you gotta do to close it is pull the trigger. So you do not need to physically shut it with your own finger. And every one I tried, you had to still shut it with your finger. So comment down below on what wrist strap, handheld, hybrid style release that I really should be using, because I'm an idiot. I always like to see those. But out of all the ones I tried, this felt like it had the best trigger mechanism, and it was the most adjustable to feel really similar to a handheld without a wrist strap, but allow me to use a wrist strap. Yep, I love it, and you're gonna love it too.
Most common size of stand out your door is large.
Size large, which is what this is. These aren't sized, they're one size only, and 90% of people can comfortably use this without an issue. Yeah, that's it.
So counterclockwise for
counterclockwise for less travel. Yep. Back it out. When in doubt, back it out. She butte, Clark.
Well, did he sell you on this guy? Well, I'm either going to use this or I'm going to use this. I know I threatened last year to use a wrist rocket index. I'm not gonna, but let me grab the release aid that I think you should if you're going to. Like Mike too, click it, single hook, click it when you get on the trailhead. When you're ready, hook onto your D-loop, pick a spot, go through your shot press, keep pulling and it'll break. We also did a video in the past on how to set the triggers heavier or lighter, depending on what you need. Find the sweet spot. To me, this is your ultimate index. If I were to use one, this would be it, but I'm not going to. I lied. The release aid that I've used the most, the longest, is that Too Simple. And because we went down to Carter and paid him a visit and they fixed it, and we gave away 2 releases as well, this is what I most likely would like to run with. There's nowhere to hook a strap, but that's not been the most terrible issue. You also can leave it on, but if you walk in the elk woods long enough, it'll get bounced off. But if you're in a ground blind tree stand, I like that it stays hooked. That is a huge advantage. The way that I've always released this release aid is as follows. Basically inverted, slightly tilted towards. I love this. But I'm gonna try this one right now for the first real time. Here we go. I do like that you just cock it and you locked it. You don't have to push any buttons. I'm just interested to see how much travel it has. I don't like a lot of travel. I don't want it really light and I don't want it really heavy. Just kind of like middle of the road. Definitely changed up my anchor a little bit. All right, I'm gonna start pulling. Wonder if I can adjust that. I gotta make some adjustments. See those two screws? I just moved this button way closer to the body. That's it. I could totally use this. But back to the video. So I'm building a bow for 2024. Quite honestly, I can't show you. So it doesn't really do us a lot of good to talk about what I'm gonna be hunting with, but I will have a backup bow. And I'm gonna talk about the options I'm gonna look at putting this new said bow. So first option is gonna be this HHA rise. Look at this. I love how the pins sweep together. Custom 3-pin, 20, 30, 40. You could do 30, 40, 50. They are horizontal. The rise, the HHA rise, is awesome to attach with a UV, any ultra view. I think that's the best frame. Better than a spot hog. Not as expensive as a landslide. But for me, I actually like this. It's got a great tunnel. If it's real bright out, you can close it up, the scope type vibe. Or if it's dark out, you can add more fiber optic to gather daylight. I went green, yellow, green, 10 thou. This bow right now is set up from 20 to 160 yards. It's spitting pretty fast. That's definitely something. So I'm probably going to use the Carter 2 Simple. It's going to be in my right pocket at all times unless I'm going to kill something. Then my backpack will be my backup release, which will be this guy, and it will have a buckle. So if you see me wearing this, it's because I'm in the doghouse and I can't lose another release. I do have a backup 2 Simple. That'll be my third backup, and I do consider these things because I travel out west and I go for long periods of time. Let me talk about two other side options. This is the Trek Pro Micro 3D. I love vertical pins. I love the dual track from Black Gold. I wish it was 3 pins. This is kind of that deal. And the cool thing is you can set it up to where that probably go to that middle pin first because you can't move it, and get it doped in at 40 yards. And I'd probably have my top pin 30, middle 40, bottom 50. That really covers a good spread for elk hunting, which is really, really important to me to have that kind of spread. Things happen fast when you party with elk. It's got pretty easy third axis adjustment. This is the bridge lock attachment. You can see how it goes. That's for the bridge lock, cover all your windage. Everything's micro adjust. This thing's pretty wicked, so I'm considering this. And I freaking love the Canyon Pounder. I already have it on a Phase 429, one of my setups. I have two, so this one could be set up for the 2024 bow that I'm gonna be hunting with this year in 2023. So this is my other option. So the three options again is the HHA Rise versus the Trek Pro Micro 3 from the Outdoor Group or CBE, and then from my homeboy Daniel Evans, the Canyon Pounder, the CP5, 5 pins.